Here's why you should worry about the American economy if you depend on a paycheck from an employer. I think people who depend on a paycheck from an employer better buckle up in 2025 and beyond, because the layoffs described in this article may just be the start of what is to come. Today, I read an interesting article on foxbusiness.com written by Aislinn Murphy, titled, "As 2025 Kicks In, So Are Layoffs. These are some companies cutting jobs." According to the author, about 10% of Blue Origin's workforce will lose their jobs. Chevron will lay off 15% to 20% of its workforce. Estee Lauder will cut somewhere between 5,800 to 7,000 jobs. JP Morgan Chase has several layoffs coming this year, but the layoffs this month will impact fewer than 1,000 workers. Kohl's slashed 10% of its workforce last month. Meta said in mid-January that they laid off low performers and planned to eliminate another 5% of their workforce. Southwest Airlines plans to eliminate 1,750 jobs, and Workday plans to eliminate about the same number of jobs as Southwest. Here are my thoughts. First, my heart goes out to all of these people who have lost their jobs or soon will. I hope they are able to find new employment quickly. If they need to relocate for new work, I hope they are able to sell their homes, especially if they purchased one near the top of the market in the recent past. I also hope they have a well-funded emergency account to rely on until they find new work. Unemployment benefits only go so far. It's scary to me that so many Americans lack any retirement savings or any emergency savings. With regard to this article, I was surprised there were no references to the number of jobs eliminated with the federal government. We've seen some big red days in the stock market this past week. If that trend continues, I have to wonder how that is going to impact some companies. How aggressive will they get to keep their stocks propped up? Cutting costs by eliminating human labor is always a potential option. There is a lot of news out there about America entering a recession. If that comes to fruition, I worry about how it will impact everyday people who are struggling to afford life right now with a full-time job. Some people have a full-time job and part-time jobs, plural, and yet they are still struggling financially. The fact that we have the highest amount of credit card debt in the history of this country right now should clue you in to the financial health of some Americans. These buy now, pay later companies have exploded in popularity. That should also clue you in to the health of some Americans with regard to their personal finances. There were a lot of comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter said, "Companies are positioning for the expected economic downturn." Another commenter said, "Corporations are bracing to prepare for all the chaos created by an unpredictable, unstable, and uncontrollable president. Tariffs will hurt badly." The next commenter said, "It doesn't take a Ph.D. in economics to understand all the excess spending at the federal level falsely drove performance in the private sector. These companies were never performing based on real demand, all on the taxpayer's dime." The reality is, executive compensation should be clawed back to at least 2008. There is nothing these people did that warranted the compensation they received. It was a taxpayer gift. Another commenter said, "It is weird that job numbers and earnings were generally great over the last 4 years. Companies are cutting their workforce now to enable them to weather the upcoming storm." The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, "AI will soon be good enough to outcompete for most human jobs." I'm going to share my thoughts regarding that last comment. Wait until the humanoid robots become mainstream. The Jetsons cartoon came out on September 23, 1962. They had a robot named Rosie and a robot dog named Astro. Rosie was the maid, And Rosie had 2 wheels under her, and she had a very boxy appearance. Compare that to the humanoid robot developed by Tesla known as Optimus. It has a closer resemblance to a human being. Optimus was announced back on August 19th, 2022. As AI technology advances, I suspect these humanoids will advance at a rapid pace. It may only be a matter of time before companies purchase these humanoid robots to replace human jobs. We already have self-checkout aisles at the store and AI assistants at the drive-thru. You may see humanoid robots coming to a neighborhood near you to replace jobs. But that's just what I think. And what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube with a gong. You have to wonder how this would all impact U.S. consumer sentiment. It's already pretty bad. I read an article today on foxbusiness.com written by Eric Revelle, titled, U.S. Consumer Sentiment Plunges on Worries Over Prices from Inflation and Tariffs. According to the author, U.S. consumer sentiment declined more than expected in February to the lowest level in more than a year, while expectations about inflation surged amid uncertainty surrounding President Donald Trump's tariff plans. The University of Michigan Surveys of Consumers on Friday released its Consumer Sentiment Index, which dropped from 71.7 in January to 64.7 in February. That's the lowest reading since November of 2023. My friends, I could see this trend continue in the wrong direction. Many Americans are barely hanging on financially. I got my haircut yesterday at Great Clips, and I paid $20. I told the lady at the counter I couldn't believe how quickly their prices went up. It had been $16 at one point. She said her wage increases haven't increased to the same extent. She also said that her wages were not keeping pace with the rising cost of everything she needs in her life. Now that's just one person, and it was a brief interaction at the cash register, but I thought you might find it interesting, so I mention it. Now there were a lot of comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter said, businesses see a bleak future. Consumers see a bleak future. Soon, the vast majority of Americans will see the U.S. heading in the wrong direction, more so than under Biden. Another commenter said, eggs are up 28% since Trump promised to slash grocery prices. LOL. The next commenter said, I thought it would take 6 months before the market crashed, but it appears President Musk has greatly accelerated the crash. I'm going to chime in about that comment. There has not been a crash. We have only seen a couple of red days in the market, and on a percentage basis, the drops are insignificant. With that said, there were other comments about the stock market beneath this article. Another person said, this is just the beginning. Wait until we see the Dow plunge to 30,000 in a few months. Well, my friends, my commenters always have interesting things to say. Please keep in mind, these are the thoughts of the commenters and not me. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.